Thank you for watching us on YouTube. But did you know that if you're on the go, you can get the full show as a podcast now? You can get our morning breakdown of the most important topics facing our country, news not being covered by the mainstream media, interviews with change-making progressives, and info on what you can actually do about all this. Search for The Damage Report on your favorite podcast app and subscribe so you know when new episodes are ready to go. Now, Brett Kavanaugh is a complicated figure. He is obviously an extreme right-winger. He was very highly placed on all those lists that go around at places like the Heritage Foundation and right-wing ideologues and all of that. Now, I saw a preview of his opening remarks, which you have seen before, but not delivered by him, delivered by every single person that's ever tried to get onto the Supreme Court. And that is, I will be a neutral arbiter, an umpire. I have no preference for one sort of law or philosophy. I just, I want to tell it like it is, call it like I see it. Do you believe that? Do you believe that on issues like Roe v. Wade, the continuation of that he's simply going to, follow established precedent and then rule in a fair and neutral way?
It seems weird. This has happened before in these confirmation hearings. Someone saying everything about their history before they sit down in that chair is, I don't like this, I want this repealed, I'm not into this, all of my rulings are gonna circumvent what is there. But now that I'm here in front of you, I'm going to respect, no, what? And then essentially, it's so weird because even saying it like that acts as if your job could not potentially be changing, creating a new precedent. Like, does that make sense? So it seems weird.
The hope
be
is
the ultimate.
Yeah, I think, obviously to people like us who pay attention to this, that sort of transition that you just described doesn't actually make any sense. Right. I think the hope is that it will provide plausible deniability to some people in the news to make the case, well, look, he's saying all of these great things. They're paid to be fooled by that sort of thing. Imagine being a paid fool in that way. And then also for some people, who don't pay attention to the news quite a bit, they'll see that one headline, I'm just gonna be a fair umpire, and they'll think, oh, well, maybe he won't be so bad.
Do you know
but we know him.
What's fascinating to me about this is that those statements, they actually, because so let's just pick the Republican side. The people who we know who's already going to vote to confirm him. They're good. They don't care what he says. But then the other side, those statements, that's usually their scapegoat to why they let things go through, why we didn't fight this. Well, he said this, she said this. So that's fascinating.
And that is a perfectly justifiable fear because it appears that there is potentially some sort of split amongst the Democrats where they're not sure if this is the one that they should fight. Well, then just leave your position, okay? Because if you don't know an enemy when you see one at this point, I don't know how you ever got into elected office in the first place. Now, that does not mean that there weren't some fireworks in the early moments of this confirmation hearing. I mean, we're a morning show, obviously, so it is just starting. But we want to play a bit of video from how it started.
Confirmation hearing on the nomination of
Mr. Chairman.
Brett Kavanaugh.
Mr. Chairman.
To serve as Associate Justice.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to be recognized for a question before we proceed. The committee received just last night, less than 15 hours ago, 42,000 pages of documents that we have not had an opportunity to review or read or analyze.
You're out of order. I'll proceed.
We cannot possibly move forward, Mr. Chairman.
I extend a very warm welcome to Judge Kavanaugh. We have not been given an opportunity.
Of course, so thank you to Kamala Harris for referencing those. You're gonna see Washington Post also talking about those 42,000 pages of documents, which seems insane that there could be that many. By the way, this is not all the documents that have been requested. Over 100,000 pages have been requested. They waited until last night to release these. And by the way, not release them as in you can look over them. Only the Judiciary Committee is gonna be able to temporarily look at them. They're still classified and all that. But there's like 60,000 that they're just like, no, we're never going to let you see these.
And that right there, the reason it's important, obviously, why she's bringing it up. In the case of like a trial, defense attorneys like to call that dumping because it's usually a strategy from the prosecution to circumvent discovery. We have to give you all of this, so we're gonna give it to you in a way that it is just gonna be impossible for you to read it and get something out of it and do something with it in time to properly defend your client. And in this case, would be the American people, would be the client.
Yeah. And it would be awesome, by the way, if we could just have an actual discussion. We have multiple sides of the aisle or whatever. We want to take a look at the documents, see what's in there, and then have a debate about what he said and what he's done. And the other side thinks, you know what, he's our guy. We like the things that he's said. But we know that that's not the actual conversation we're having. They didn't reveal 60,000 of these documents. They only revealed 42,000 the night before, not because they're so confident about his record and the judicial ideals he's stood for, but because obviously they're horrified of things that are in that record. He worked under George W. Bush. We know that his stance on issues like whether presidents should have any legal repercussions whatsoever for criminal wrongdoing when they're in office is on the wrong side of history. Certainly it's on a beneficial side for Donald Trump now. God only knows what's in those documents, and God might be the only one who knows in time to actually do something about it because of this insane, anti-democratic, underhanded judicial tactic from the White House here in dumping these documents, making it impossible effectively for anyone to actually know anytime soon what's in them. And because of that, we might have Brett Kavanaugh, not for the length of the Trump presidency, but you could have another term of Trump and then one of Don Jr. and then two of Ivanka and one of Barron, and we'd still have Brett Kavanaugh at the end of it.
One of Barron, that actually-
Give him one. He seems like a good kid. Yeah. He'll be middle-aged at that point, but we'll still have Brett Kavanaugh, and he will be shredding labor rights and shredding the environment and making sure the presidents are protected from any investigation of what they do. Forget about corruption. We're having this debate about whether we can actually fight against corruption right now. You won't even know that it's going on in future years, thanks to people like Brett Kavanaugh reshaping the Supreme Court in that direction. Thank you very much for watching this clip from The Damage Report. If you liked it, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and ring the bell on YouTube to get notified of our new videos. And catch The Damage Report every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on TYT Network on YouTube TV.